Hi, I'm Steve, the Introverted Traveler. I've made it my mission in life to explore the beaches, deserts, mountains, and even cityscapes around us, and to do so while avoiding contact with as many people as possible. And although I will never hang out with you for any reason, I do invite you to join me on my journey. Come and see the world through the eyes of an extreme introvert. On this edition, we are hiking the Loch Leven Trail in the Sierra Nevada of Northern California. Along the way, we will see dense forests, historic train tracks, rocky trails, and breathtaking lake views. This and much more on this Introverted Travels. Greetings, and once again, we are back for yet another adventure. Today's hike, we are in, as we often are, the Sierra Nevada of Northern California, and I'm trying not to fall and crack my head at the moment, but so we are doing the Loch Leven hike today. It's right off of Highway 80 before the little area known as Kingvale, not quite all the way up to Donner Summit. So for those of you with a map, or those of you who know the area, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But let's just get into the meat and potatoes. So the potatoes are that this is about, according to all trails, under 8 miles, but according to reality, probably about 8 mile hike. It is rated as challenging, although I think there's only about a mile to a mile and a half that's actually uphill. So we'll see how challenging it is. But the real challenge, the damn trailhead was full, as usual. It is the middle of October. It is, here in Northern California, fall doesn't really get fallish until November. So there's been no snow up here. It's still in the 60s and 70s, as you can see. So unfortunately, good weather and no snow equals people. So yes, there's people out here. I actually see a people now. So I'm gonna make this fast. I'm gonna make this quick. And you know I'm gonna complain as much as possible. But yes, we're out here. There's people, long hike, rinse, repeat. It's my usual, you know, template. So let's see if we can do this as quickly as possible and as people and pain-free as possible. All right, so I'm less than a mile in, probably about a half a mile in, and already I've seen hikers both coming and going, which, you know, seeing hikers coming back. Oh, by the way, the tree is labeled as a trail. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure who did that, but that's funny right there. Anyway, so as I was saying, it's always weird to me because I'm not out here till usually 10 or 11 o'clock. It's a little past 10 now. And usually I'm driving a few hours to get to where I am going. Today, I'm only about an hour from the house, so that's not bad. But I forget there's people that actually get up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and come out hiking. I don't. I get up at like 6:30. But unless it's super big hike like Mount St. Helens or something, then I'll, you know, indulge. But yeah, there's early birds, and so as I'm going towards the goal, they're coming back, and which is fortunate because that means they're getting the hell out and I don't have to deal with them. But they're still people, so I'm still going to complain. But yeah, so I've seen some people coming, I've seen some people going, taking it nice and slow because when I see another person on the trail, I get off the trail and just wait. I don't want to be anywhere near them. So right at the moment, we're out here by ourselves. But as I said, there are a lot of cars at the trailhead. So who knows what hell I'm getting myself into. This is where I am. Wonderful landscape. And let's go. so far, All Trails has just been absolutely stellar on this hike. So it wants me to take all these little shortcuts through the woods, and it will show on the map the little dotted trail where the actual official trail is. And for whatever reason, and it's been happening, you know, on a few of my hikes lately, All Trails just wants to say, okay, well, there's a trail, screw that, go up here through the woods and across the rocks and into this hole and down in the center of the earth and then back up. I don't understand it. I don't know how these maps are drawn. I don't know what, you know, idiot is drawing these maps. But yeah, I'm starting to actually just follow the dotted trail instead of the actual All Trails routes, because half the time I get stuck out in the woods and there's like a bush shoved in my crotch and I'm, you know, impaled on a tree or something because I've used some freaking All Trail shortcut. All right, so check this out. Here's where I am. So you can see I have not strayed too far from the freeway. But of course that's why there's people out here, because it's easy and convenient to the freeway. All right, so far it's beautiful. I mean, this area is always beautiful, but I mean, if you're into the natural wonder that is Interstate 80. But yeah, so far it hasn't been too difficult making my way. Too many people, but yeah, I'm hoping not to die because All Trails decides it wants me to go kamikaze through the woods. Well, for the second time in as many weeks, I passed some dipshit who was sitting on a rock in the middle of the forest, blathering or blabbing loudly on his cell phone for everybody here. Having just a nice, grand, huge conversation on his cell phone. Was it an emergency? He was talking to friends or something. But really, seriously, what's even the point of being out here if you're gonna do that? First of all, it's rude to other hikers and, you know, antisocial weirdos like me. And what's the point of coming into the woods, coming into nature, getting away from it all, when you're just gonna take it with you? I just don't understand it. It's infuriating, but also, you know, my tolerance for anything involving anybody, anywhere, ever is small, very small. But still, I don't understand it. I don't get it. And there's a cool bridge coming up, so that might soothe my soul. But yeah, second week in a row, folks. Some idiot out in the woods, yakking on his cell phone. Well, that was interesting. So we're at the train tracks, and All Trails swears up and down that this is part of the old Transcontinental Railroad, which it very well might be. And of course, up ahead of us is the Donner train tunnels that we've been through, which I know for a fact is part of the old Transcontinental Railroad. But at some point, the modern tracks diverge from the historical tracks and go through the mountains. I don't know where that is, but my assumption is, yeah, these are probably the tracks from the old Transcontinental. I held that shot. I was trying to get the entire train, and the train was going on and on. You know, it was probably like a mile long or so. So I was out there for 5 minutes holding the shot. When I started, no one was there. Well, of course, other people decided to show up, other hikers. And they wanted a selfie so bad in front of the train that even though I had been standing there, quiet, not saying a word, holding the shot for 5 minutes, they decided that their selfie was so important they were going to get right in my shot. So yeah, I didn't get the very last bit of the train because some assholes decided that they wanted to go, ooh, look, we're going to put ourselves on Instagram. Of course, I'm probably going to put this stuff on Instagram, but still, don't ruin other people's shots. It wasn't like they couldn't have walked around me to the other side and then shot their selfie. There was room out there. I wasn't, you know, there was more than just a little square of space to take pictures in. So yeah, people on the trail are assholes, and right now I feel completely justified ranting about them in every single video. Well, the trails finally started getting interesting. I was worried it was going to be too easy today because it hasn't been that much of a hassle. But then I run into this. I mean, it's not terrible. And it's nothing I'm complaining about. I mean, it's the only thing I'm not complaining about. But it's nice to have a little bit of challenge. I mean, this is kind of a mess. It's not exactly my usual, but I'll take it. Let's climb this thing and get some cardio in. Let's go. All right, so I yeah, I can't talk. I can never talk when I'm hiking. All right, so it looks like I've made it up through all the uphill elevation stuff that All Trails has marked on the map, because All Trails now has literally an elevation map. So you can see your little dot moving on the elevation map as your arrow is moving on the actual map. And if that doesn't make any sense, just get All Trails and you'll see what I'm talking about. But yeah, so now I'm at the part that's nice and flat, or semi-flat. And now it's just a stroll down to the lakes that are speckled along this route. As you can see, we've got some golden colors out here. As I said, I am in the middle of October here in the Sierras. They're actually experiencing fall. Where I am, you know, there's leaves falling in my driveway, but there's not colors like this. The colors don't start down there in Sacramento until like November. So yeah, so we got some fall colors out here, and it looks like I am out of the uphill hiking, at least for now. I will tell you, there's so many people out here today. There's, of course, the rude people I talked about earlier, and then there's just, I didn't realize that people actually come camp up here. So I'm getting people who came overnight to make me miserable the next day, you know, and they're hiking out now, of course, making me completely miserable. But at least they're leaving. I'm seeing a lot of dogs, which is good. I'd rather just see the dogs, and that's it. But yeah, there's a lot of people out here, unfortunately. This is a beautiful trail. It's a beautiful area. People, not so beautiful. All right, I have made it to lower Loch Leven. Let's see if I can avoid the sun glare off the water there. There's a bunch of people over there playing ball with their dogs. Of course, my dog would put his tail between his legs and run away from this because he absolutely despises water. But he's a weirdo, and most dogs love it. So there's dogs out here playing. Unfortunately, there's other people. But this is the lower lake. Quite beautiful. Yeah. So we're gonna move on to the middle next, and then upper, and then we're gonna turn around, and we're gonna get the hell out of here. Sound like a plan? One last look at the beautiful lake here. Let's go. Okay, we are at the middle Loch Leven Lake. As you can see, it's beautiful. Unfortunately, there's still other people around here, but that's basically an inevitability. Humans have infested this planet like a disease, folks. But the lake's pretty. Look at that. You got the granite contrasting against the semi-blue water. Beautiful. Let's head on to the next one. I have a feeling we're not going to be able to avoid any people today at all, but let's go see what's going on down there, and then we're getting the heck out. Well, we have made it to the upper lake, the last of the three lakes. Look how beautiful that is. Isn't that amazing? So yeah, we are pretty much done. I'm actually off the All Trails map at the moment because the trail keeps going. For some reason, they just arbitrarily end their trails. I don't know why, but the trail keeps going to the end of the lake. I'm not going to go all the way. I just needed a good shot. And yeah, I think I got one. All right, we're done. I'm headed back. Beautiful, isn't it? Let's go. Here's an update. Don't bring your kids out hiking. Why? Because they're loud. And people like me have to hear them echoing all over the forest. I don't know where that kid is, but he's like screaming up there somewhere. I mean, not for help or anything, just, you know, annoying screaming. I am, well, I'm here. The trail has been, I didn't notice it as much going on the way up. I did, but I guess I didn't feel it as well as I do going down, but it's very, very rocky. So I'm hoping that this is the new normal over here. And then I'm now off the rocky parts. I'm headed back down towards the railroad crossing, and then I have a whole other part after that. So I'm not there yet, but I'm making it. And someone's kid is screaming through the woods. I'm not even gonna go. I've gotten into the rant so many times, you probably have it memorized in Latin by now. So let's focus on the trail ahead, and let's get out of here. Okay, so we're back here. There's still a child screaming through the forest, but I'm down on what All Trail says is the Transcontinental Railroad, which I actually believe. More than likely, yeah, this is probably part of what used to be the Transcontinental Railroad, but now it's Union Pacific or whatever comes through here. Amtrak uses this and so forth. So, I made it here, but I still probably have 1.5 miles left. And there's a child still screaming through the woods. The rating on this trail is not going to be very high. But this is kind of picturesque. I mean, if you're in the train tracks and all that, rail enthusiasts might like it, but yeah, we're going to get going before the demon child comes through the trees. And I'll see you in a minute. I'm getting closer and closer to the trailhead and closer to my car. So now is the time in the video in which we rate this trail. And unfortunately, this one's not gonna rate very high today. The scale that we use is an introversion scale of 1 is equal to the number of people you would encounter at Disneyland on the 4th of July. So it literally is like the flames and fires of hell. Is the worst possible thing ever. People everywhere, no free space, no solitude, just screaming, annoying, mind-killing people. Contrast that to the other end of the scale, which is a 10, and that's equal to the number of people you'd find in an ice field in Antarctica. You wouldn't find anybody there. It's just you and the penguins, solitude, peace, happiness, and all is well in the universe. So, on that scale, between 1, which is hell, and 10, which is heaven, this trail is a solid 3. There are so many damn people out here. There's hikers, there's campers, there's screaming monster children, there's guys letting dogs off leashes and everything else. And there's people behind me. Wonderful. So, yeah. We'll cut it short, but I think that demonstrates my point. There's too many damn people here. There's too many damn people in the world, and so the trail gets a 3. Beautiful trail, beautiful lakes, somewhat challenging. Not terrible, but somewhat challenging. But yeah, too many damn people, folks. Misery index, really fast. Well, there's people behind me, so I'm at a 5.9234, whatever. I'm huge. It's miserable. Overall, most of the hike I've been about a 2 or 3, but of course when there's people near, that's when the needle starts to rise. So as our rating for this time, may heaven have mercy on my soul. There's people behind me. Okay, there's still children screaming somewhere in the forest behind me. However, I'm just about back to my car, about half a mile away or so. So I still have a little bit left, but I'm gonna say goodbye here. But before I do, quick recap. We're on the Loch Leven trail. We went up to lower, middle, and I believe it's called higher Loch Leven lakes. Along the way, we saw fall foliage, all sorts of like yellow leaves. We saw a rocky trail. We saw way too many damn people. We saw some beautiful lakes. And now, I just want to go home. So, you know it's coming. Stay introverted, everyone. And I'll see you in the next adventure.